This time on Custom Work, on this special bonus episode, we'll be looking at the Land Rover drawer again. So let's get to the workshop, let's get the job done. So inside the back of the car, we can see this is where the box that's going to house the kitchen stuff. This is where it sits, and as you can see, it just makes like a continuation of the bench. It doesn't come all the way across because the chassis rails there. That is sort of the natural place for it to stop. Also, we're also limited by the drawer runners we can get, and also the electrical actuator that actually shoves that out, and also just about, you know, the overall size of what we can project throughout the side of the vehicle, and it, you know, still be nice and strong. So of course everything on this project has got to be sort of belt and braces, super strong. But what we're going to do now, which is I believe a popular modification in these, we're going to cut this bulkhead out so that this is level through here, and this will just go nice and down there. I mean, there's just loads of, you know, bonuses to having this. What I want to do is make something that's really strong, is going to make everything really rigid here, and also finish off nicely between the top of this box and the front of the bulkhead with a nice folded piece of steel. And that's going to be quite a heavyweight piece of steel. But anyway, before all that, what we've got to do is get the grinder and the sawzall and chop this out. So there it is, out the car. Already looks a lot bigger in there, and you know, it's a lot wider. Let's take a closer look. So here we are. We've got these gaps up to here where we've got these temporary screws holding the front flange of the box in. We've got this part of the framework of the cab, and then this is cut flush all across here, and obviously the same on the other side. So what we've got to do, we need to cloak in along this edge, just here, and we need to cloak in here, and I've already cut these runners back so we can get a nice angle piece in there, and the same here, and I think we're back to where we started there. Of course, this piece that goes in here has got to be structurally strong, so what I'll more than likely do is bring a piece of steel that folds over here and goes the full width. And then I'll bring some upstands up here that will have a flange back to attach to there, and that should give us the same sort of rigidity that we had before. But also with that, the seats will be able to come back. I don't know if this is going to be used as a camper van or something, but you could probably get to lay down a bit easier with that extra bit of room. So let's make some cloaking pieces. So we cut all this floor out, we've mounted this box in. This box is on two huge brackets that go to the chassis, and then because this is stainless steel, that was painted, didn't want any welding underneath for corrosion. This is bonded. This is bonded to the bracket, so it is never going anywhere. But we've got these gaps, and of course those gaps are no good. So what I've done, I've had some steel folded. Now this will fit in here. This will probably have a few rivets in it, but the rivets will just be to hold it. This will all be bonded. This needs to be quite strong, and rivets are never that strong, so we're going to bond it in a continuous bond. These bits will go like this. We've got a flat bit for just here that needs trimming a little bit. We've got these other bits, that must be the bit for there, that must be the bit for there, it is. And that must go over there. You know what, sometimes it almost seems like I've planned this stuff out. Anyway, that's where these bits will go. They need a little bit of fettling to go in. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all these in, and I'm going to tack weld them all together in the truck I'm going to take them out the truck. I'm going to weld them all so they're seamless, so all these corners, all these joins are really clean and nice. And then I will try it again. Then I'll paint this. And this is something that I always say. With steel, if you are not confident that every single part of the steel is painted and rust proofed, then you know that steel is going to let you down, particularly on a vehicle like this. It's an off-road vehicle, you know, and the lot of condensation inside an aluminium bodied car, a lot of risk for rust, a lot of damp in there. So all of this is going to be fully painted inside and out and fitted back. And then of course we've got this, which is the bulkhead. I think they call it bulkhead delete. So we've got rid of the bulkhead here, but of course we've got to put some strength back. So we'll be using this steel, which we've had bent like that. This is quite a bit thicker than the other bits for the cloaking plates, and this will be bonded and riveted into there. These bits will be welded on, and we're going to put, I don't know if you can see, but in that right angle there, we're going to form a gusset plate into there in steel, just to make sure there's no sort of sideways action there. But I want to make sure with that gusset plate, I'll get it all tacked together. Then we'll take this protective piece of plywood out, because it's got very nice seats in the front of this. And what we'll see is, just to make sure that the seats fully recline, and whatever bracketry we put in there doesn't get in the way of anything that in the future you want to do in this van. Like, I don't know if you wanted to sleep in there, or like recline the seats, or I don't know. But I want those two gusset plates to be as unintrusive as I can possibly make them. Alright then, so all these little bits that we had is now one piece. So this whole thing drops in one piece, and welded all that up, and that is almost ready. I'm going to drill a few holes just for fixing. I know mainly it's going to be bonded, but it's still, we'll just need a few things, you know, probably a few rivets just to hold it while the bonding dries. And always remember, if you ever rivet anything, bond it as well. Rivets are probably not the best sort of, they don't join very well, but if you rivet and bond, you get a really good join. So that goes in there. And also on this, we've obviously we've removed this bulkhead, and we've got this folded piece in, and at these two sides we've welded in the uprights, and then there's this flat steel that goes back to there that bolts to the framework of the vehicle. And then in the top here, we're going to drill two holes there, and we will also bolt it down just there. And at the moment, what I'm making two gusset plates that are going to fit in there, just to give this, you know, some extra rigidity. Those gusset plates I'm going to make in very thick steel. Right, and so here are the gusset plates I'm going to make that are going to make that a little bit more rigid. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these with the plasma cutter. Right then, so we've got the bracing that drops this down. It's very, very rigid now, and it bolts in 1, 2, 3, 4 places both sides. It's going to bond to what's left of the bulkhead down there, and of course it will rivet and bond to the top of the box. So that is done. All that's left to do on that is to drill all the holes in it. Remember, on something like this, it's steel, so drill the holes, then paint it, then rivet it. And you've not got like a bare steel hole where the rivet's going to go, you know, where rust's going to start. So what's the one thing you always see with rivets? Lines of rust running from them. And that's where the painted metal's been drilled. Inside the hole has gone rust in, it rusts around. So we'll put all the holes in that, and then we'll prep that for paint. Right, so here we have, this is the thing that cloaks all those gaps inside. It's all welded together now, and it's all been pre-drilled for the rivets. All this needs now is good wipe down, bit of sand on some etch primer, and then we can paint it. Okay then, so inside the Land Rover, all the cloaking's on now and the box is fully fitted, well, from the inside at least. So we got, I welded all the steel together so there's no gaps or anything, and then it's all finished in Raptor, and then it's been riveted and bonded to the floor. Makes it just, it's incredibly strong and looks quite nice. So now we're going to have a look at a few more details of the drawer. So then, this is the inside box for the drawer. As I said earlier, I think this isn't stainless steel. Now the form has been sort of perfected. Next time it could just be made in stainless steel. And this is probably something I've learnt recently, that if you have something laser cut or something made, if you can make it in stainless steel and then get some stainless wire for your MIG, it just looks better and you've never got to paint it. And yeah, it is a lot more expensive for stainless steel, but just think of your time and stuff. No painting, no nothing. You can just like Scotch-Brite that up and it looks great. So I know, bear that in mind, if you will, if you're bothered. I don't know. Anyway, this is just mild steel. So this end cap's been welded on. So finally, it's got a bit of sort of triangulation in its structure. It's where the drawer goes in, and I've bodyworked this just a little bit, just to go between the manufactured drawer lining and this surround that I've made. It's looking pretty good. First we're going to go on with an etch primer, then a silver base, and then I'm going to finish this in a semi-matte 2K clear. Base coat done. Okay, so that's it. The clear coat is on and it's drying. Next time what we're going to be doing is assembling all this together, all this electronic glory all together, and making the drawer work and finishing the cooking drawer.